Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am so sorry for not uploading this tutorial before Halloween, but you know what they said, it's better late than never. So if you guys want to see how I came up with this sexy vampy look, then just keep on watching. To ensure that my eyeshadow will last all night long, I'm going to be using my LA Pro Primer HD, and I'm going to apply this all over my lid and also under my eyes. As my transition color, I'm going to be using this Makeup Geek matte eyeshadow that's called Creme Brûlée, and I'm going to apply this right above my crease. Moving on to some color, I'm going to apply this red matte eyeshadow, and this comes from my Coastal Scents 120 palette. I think this is the first edition, and I'm going to apply this with a Coastal Scents fluffy blending brush, and I'm going to apply this on a windshield wiper motion on my crease, and then I'm going to start applying it in the inner part of my eye, as you can see, and I'm going to start drawing it upwards, like towards my brow. And yeah, just don't forget to start doing a lot of blending. Next, I'm going to be using this Makeup Geek matte black eyeshadow, and this one is called Corrupt. You guys, these eyeshadows are so pigmented, so I'm going to be using my Coastal Scents dense eyeshadow brush. It comes with a number, but I'm just calling it like that. So I'm applying this right at the socket of my eye, because I want to make sure it's almost like a cut crease. And I know it looks really harsh, but don't worry, I'm going to be using another Coastal Scents fluffy blending brush, because of course we don't want a harsh line. So I'm going to blend it out along with my previous eyeshadow, which was the red eyeshadow, so it looks nice and diffused. Here I'm going back with my Coastal Scents red matte eyeshadow, and I'm applying it pretty much right on the side of my nose, if that's what you want to say, or the inner part of my eye. And as you can see, I'm drawing it like up and down, and then I'm going back again with the same matte black eyeshadow that I used on my crease, and just make sure that you do a lot of blending. Next, I'm going to be using this Wet n Wild Fantasy Makers. It's from the Halloween collection, and this one is called Glitter Palette. I'm going to be using this really creamy gray eyeshadow, and I'm going to apply this with my new BH Cosmetics eyeshadow brush all over my lid. In the same palette, I'm going to be using this white glittery creamy eyeshadow along with this angle brush, and I'm going to apply this right on top of the gray eyeshadow that I just applied before, just because I want the lid to be a little bit lighter yet have that glittery effect. Here I'm using my Coastal Scents palette, and I'm using this white matte eyeshadow, and I'm going to highlight my brow bone, and then I'm also gonna go back and clean up my outer V. Since I didn't use a Scotch tape, what I did is that I used just a simple baby wipe and just make sure I have a nice cut clean crease. Here I'm going back with my Coastal Scents 120 palette, and I'm going to be using again the red matte eyeshadow, but this time I'm going to apply this on my lower lash line. So that's going to be the first eyeshadow I'm going to be applying. Then I'm going to be using my Makeup Geek black eyeshadow that's called Corrupt, and I'm going to apply this right on top of the red eyeshadow, just because I want that smoky, sultry, sexy look. Here I'm using my Mali Beauty black eyeliner, and as you can see, I'm applying this on my waterline, and then also I'm going to be tightlining my eye. Here I'm using my Milani Eye Tech Angle liquid eyeliner, and I'm going to apply this right on the outer V, that it's really nice and sharp, and it's perfect for like a straight line. It gives you more control. However, I felt that it wasn't as pigmented as I wish it could have been, so I ended up using my NYC liquid eyeliner just to continue my wing liner. Moving on to mascara, I'm going to be using my voluminous Miss Manga along with some false lashes. Going back with my Wet n Wild Fantasy Makers, I'm going to be using this red creamy eyeshadow. I'm just gonna apply it on the inner part of my eye, and then I'm just gonna use my NYX, actually it's a lip liner, and I'm going to be applying it on the inner part of my waterline, just because I want that little pop of red color. Moving on to foundation, I'm going to be using my Kat Von D Like It Tattoo in M64 along with my NYX HD concealer, and I'm going to mix them up because I want the shade to be obviously one shade lighter than my skin tone, and as you can see I'm applying it with my beauty blender. Moving on to highlighting my face, I'm going to be using my Motives Mavens Sculpt Series palette in the shade Fire, and as you can see I'm going to be using these two light shades. I'm going to be applying it under my eyes, in between my eyebrows, down the bridge of my nose, on my cupid's bow, right around the edges of my nose, on my chin, and then I'm going to start blending it out with my beauty blender, and I'm also going to be using my micro beauty blender. Now moving on to contour, I'm going to be using the same palette, and I'm going to use one shade darker than my skin tone. This one is called Blaze. I'm going to be applying it with my Sedona lace brush, and I'm going to be contouring the hollows of my cheeks, also my forehead and my nose, my jawline, but especially I really want a strong contouring on the hollows of my cheeks, because you want to make them pop. So I'm going to be using my beauty blender just to make sure that I blend everything out. I want to make sure that I set my cream contouring, so I have to use a setting powder. I'm going to be using my Benefit Hoolah bronzer along with my Sedona lace contouring brush. Same way that we also set our cream contour, we have to do the same thing with our highlight areas. So I'm going to be mixing two things, my Ben Nye banana powder, and I'm also going to mix it with my Coastal Scents white matte eyeshadow that I use on my brow bone as a highlight, and I'm going to use my micro beauty blender. For blush, I'm going to be using this Tarte Amazonian palette. It was a limited edition from last year, and it's called On the Cuff. And the name of this blush is called Dazzle. It's a soft rose color with my It Cosmetics blush. Now moving on to lips, I'm going to be using my Jordana lip liner, and this one is called Cabernet. I'm actually gonna over exaggerate my cupid's bow right there because I gotta make those lips juicy. So I'm going to line them up and make them as dramatic as possible. Moving on to lips, I'm going to be using my Wet n Wild Fergie lipstick, and this one is called Saraghina. It's a really nice red creamy lipstick that I'm going to apply this all over my lips. And to make my lips more juicier, I'm going to be using this Loreal limited lip glosses. The first one that I'm going to be applying is a dark plum, beautiful color. It's called Plum Adagio, and then I'm going to top it off with this red, oh, it's so sexy. It's called Scarlet Concerto, right in the middle of my lips. And last minute thing, I decided to add a little red pop of color using the Fantasy Makers palette right there, just to add a little something. And this is the final look. If you guys liked this tutorial, please don't forget to give me a thumbs up and also share this video. And until the next time, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah. Besitos. Bye.